Well, hello everyone and welcome to Marshall BMW and Mini in Salisbury, and we are here today for this, the pop-up British Motor Show. This should be an exciting one. Now obviously, being at a dealership, there are plenty of new cars here to admire. Obviously BMW Mini dealership, you can have plenty of BMWs and Minis, would you believe? And there I have a lovely photo for Mini Monday. Yes, I know usually Mini Monday is about classic Minis rather than the moderns, but I can allow an exception every now and then. Mixed Mini Monday we'll call it. Yeah, we've got a collection of electric Minis, Coopers, Ones, I'm sure it's convertible in there, yes there is in green. And obviously Millie, facing the wrong way, just there on the end. She does look tiny next to the newer Minis though. I know that's one of the most common things anybody ever says about Minis, and especially the newer ones, that they're too big to be a Mini, but they still wear that badge, they still wear this, so it must be a Mini, right? So yes, today we are here in Millie the Mini, because of course, well, it's a Mini, we're at a Mini dealership. And it kind of fits in quite nicely. There's a few other Mini cars here, mostly older ones, such as Millie, so she's not alone here. Despite the fact this particular event is being held at a BMW and Mini dealership, it is open to all makes and models for today. I could have brought the Panda if I really wanted to, but I just thought, you know what, the Mini fits in a bit nicer. But yeah, we have some other models here. We have Lotus Esprit Turbo at the back, which looks very nice. Just have a quick look underneath the bonnet of that. And there it is, of course, Lotus stamped into the rear bumper. I do like that. Gorgeous piece of engineering work under there. Had a little boot space as well, I never knew it had that. Then comes a Ford Fiesta. Is it an ST? Yes it is. Mazda MX-5 as well. VW Scirocco. I always like the look of these Sciroccos, I think they look quite elegant. Oh hello, this is different. I like that that's managed to be stamped in. Quite nice really. Obviously over there we've got a JCW, another JCW Mini here. Plenty to look at. It's not a very big dealership, as you can tell. Well, obviously it does go quite a way back, but it's mainly used cars over there. Out goes a Lexus, followed by a BMW, and a Mini following on as well. I don't expect I'll be here for too long today. I think the MX-5 might have a bit of power. You may have spotted this in the background of other footage. Of course, how can you miss this? The Tony-styled Lamborghini Countach. Of course, one of the poster cars of many a child's bedroom in the 1980s. Pioneer 6x9s there on the doors. Oh, I like the little Lamborghini bull just in the Speedo. That's quite a nice little detail. But yeah, it's very compact in there, almost cockpit-like for a fighter jet of some sort. And the handbrake looks really quite awkward as a position. But a nice stubby little gear stick as well. It's not really that often I get to have a look at a Countach, and to be honest, given that most of the channel features should we say more ordinary road going cars, a Lamborghini Countach is not something that they feature too often, but I'm going to make an exception. It's here, and look how chunky the rear tyres are. I bet those cost quite a lot of money. And also, that's so typically 80s, isn't it? Big space, you could have that all come down, but no, they've chosen the tiniest bit in the world. I'd fully expect actually that's probably because of the way the door works. Obviously it goes up like that, it's a door, but you can't get the window to go fully down in that, can you? But next to Millie, BMW 520i, shark nose BMW. I love the styling of these. I will admit I'm not the biggest fan of BMWs, but I'd have one of these ones. I do like them. I like them a lot. And I like the E30 as well, especially as a tourer. This is now leaving, obviously. A kit car, but it does have a genuine V8. At least it's very loud. Obviously styled like a Daytona. I don't know who's made it. I haven't really had much of a chance to look around it as it's leaving. But that sounds absolutely epic. Anyway, this is something very, very different as well. It's a kit car naturally. It's very green. It looks almost like it's Kawasaki green. But I like the orange details as well. Powered by Mazda, it says built using Draper tools. It's got a little Caterham fuel cap, that's the word I'm looking for. Very open, quite like an aerial Atom, or I guess as well you could class it as something like a KTM crossbow. But I think the engine in it is somewhere in the region, I would imagine anyway, somewhere in the region of about 2 litres, possibly a 1.8. And whilst I'm not sure exactly what it is, I think it's an MEV or MEV Exocet. I say I don't know, I'm not that clued up on what this particular car is, but I kind of like it just because it's a bit different, so I don't think I've ever seen one anywhere before. Cool, that Daytona does sound good though. This particular BMW, lovely colour on it, metallic-y sort of purple colour, really stands out. K-Road says 1992, and this particular one is for sale. This could be yours, £6,250. Obviously it's a coupe, it's automatic, it's got 46,000 miles. This is very clean. Oh, and it has a rear sunshade as well. Oh, I'm sold. If I had that sort of money to play with to buy another car tomorrow. Ooh. And it has full service history as well. I have heard of car parts being made in a shed. I have heard of full cars being built in a shed. I have heard of cars that are sheds. This car is a shed, and not in a rude way at all to say that it's dilapidated or uncared for. No, it's quite clear that this is very much cared for. This is the world's fastest shed. Set a record for, obviously, a shed, setting a speed record in 2018 at Pendine Sands in Wales. 115-ish miles an hour. It might have been slightly under that, it might have been slightly over. I am going off of memory with this because I remember reading about it at the time, and bear in mind that was now about, what, 5 years ago. So underneath all of this is a Volkswagen Passat. I think it's the B4 generation. As you can see, very comfy seats in there, manual gearbox, and there is actually a Volkswagen logo on the steering wheel. My other car is a Porsche, which that is quite funny considering this obviously is a Volkswagen. But underneath the bonnet is obviously it's the engine. It is not the original Volkswagen Passat engine because it's an Audi RS V8, 4.2 litre FSI, which I can imagine makes quite a good noise and is incredibly quick. But yes, for all intents and purposes, it is a shed. It even has a tow bar. These indicators look somewhat familiar. And obviously it is sponsored because a build like this doesn't just happen without funding. It's been sponsored by First Stop for tyres and car services, with Bridgestone supplying the tyres, and Pierce Signs bring the world's brands to life. So I would assume Pierce Signs have made all the sponsorship signage. What a wild and wacky thing. As I say, I have heard of this before, I've read about it before, but it's the first time I've ever seen it in person. And it is honestly as crazy as you would expect it to be. And look, it's got a little mouse or rat sticking out of there. That's cute. Also, 3 windscreen wipers. And there's your air intake. Obviously it doesn't leave a lot of room for sheddy business there, to be honest, because the cab comes up to about here, which is more than halfway on it. But for a novelty, for a bit of fun, I like it and I respect this massively. And look, it's attracting a lot of attention. Oh, here's a cameo and a half. It's Joey Ararosa! Right here down by the entrance to the dealership are a collection of kit cars, and they're all based on a BMW Z3 underneath. As you can see, this particular one based on the AC Cobra, the one next to it based on a Ferrari. It's called the Le Mans, this particular one. It says just down here. I've got a cheat sheet for this one, and this one is the Isabella, BMW Z3 based kit car. As I say, they all are. Well, the coachwork on this looks really nice. Wire wheels, of course, wood rim steering wheel. So they have actually changed the dashboard, I think, in this one compared to the normal Z3. And of course, with that, you get BMW reliability, comfort, but classic looks that are sure to attract attention. What's not to like with this sort of thing? Well, I've said before on the channel, and I'll say it again, kit cars obviously are very much Marmite. You either love them or hate them. Some people really do like them, others really don't. Personally, I like them because it means a kit car is an affordable way for somebody to get their dream car. Not everybody can afford an original AC Cobra, but with this BMW one, you can have one, or at least kind of the experience. Well, included in today, it's not just all about the cars, it's about building a community, having a bit of fun. Obviously, as well, that's a bit of an advertisement for the British Motor Show at Farnborough later this year. But they brought down a barbecue, so food is available, I believe hot dogs and burgers. And you also have Scale Extric. I love Scale Extric. Scale Extric is brilliant. In fact, has anybody seen the latest Renault advert advertising their electric car range? I love that advert as well. That's a brilliant piece of marketing in my mind. And on top of the Scale Extric, if you're not particularly into pulling a trigger, obviously making your car go very, very fast around the circuit, not actually using a gun, you've got Sega Rally, which is quite fun. Manual gearbox, and they're doing almost like Top Gear timed laps. So I think there might well be a prize that comes of it if you have the fastest time overall, which I'm guessing will either mean you win something to do with the British Motor Show, or you actually get entrance to it. I don't know. Anyway, on with the cars. Anyway, Mini AA Patrol Service. Love, love, love this, especially when it's a working style van. Austin Mini, sliding windows. Oh, it's even got the little CB radio. And that's located underneath the dashboard. That does not look comfy for a passenger's legs, but because I wasn't alive when these were in active service, and nor would I be for probably about the next 40 odd years, I don't know whether they would have had passengers in this car whilst, or van even, whilst it was actually about doing a job. So that may not actually be a problem, but original sign, actual wing mirrors, love it. I love a minivan. This particular one, Grunty Pig Clubman front end, 1380cc hill climb and sprint car. It is an original 1970s Clubman, but it looks like it's got a fiberglass front end. Obviously fat arches for extra traction with wide chunky wheels. Fuel tank, obviously the boot is now the whole fuel tank. Cooling as well. Mark 1 Mini rear light that's been obviously turned up and round and everything else like that. Bulldog, I imagine he's fixed down pretty tightly, and competition seat belts. And fiberglass dashboard as well. All the fiberglass. This particular Mini, obviously built under Austin Rover, 1988 I think it is, this particular one. It's a Mini designer. 2,000 of these were built originally, 1,000 in white, 1,000 in black. Obviously, Mary Quant had quite a bit to do with the design and styling of this car. Of course, a well-known, world-renowned designer, shall we say. And look at that interior. That's something a little bit special. It's quite simple, zebra-like, but it's nice. And it's got the little Mary Quant flower. And the best thing about this car is, it is in exceptionally clean condition, and this car is actually coming up for sale. Yes, this very car could be yours. And what a tribute to Mary Quant, who of course died just over a month ago at the time of filming. It wasn't that long ago anyway. If we just have a quick look in the rear window, little model, and a bit of a homage as well. That's a nice little touch. Onto the BMW E30 of YouTuber, Instagrammer, Twitter user, whatever. Brown car guy.
I am Shazad, aka the brown car guy, and this car is not brown, it's black. This is a 1989 BMW 325i, otherwise known as an E30. I actually only got this in March of last year. I bought it at auction, and the reason I got it was because I actually used to own a very similar car back in the 90s. I always regretted selling it, and it was one of those things where when I saw the car and it came up for auction, I was like, I have to scratch that itch again, you know. And I have to say, it's been fantastic. It's been everything and more. It's exceeded my expectations. I got very lucky with it. There was nothing really that needed doing to it. In fact, to be honest, the only thing that I've had is I had a problem with the hub on this wheel. So I had to fix the hub and change the wheel because the wheel was wrecked as well. And then the other thing was the odometer had stopped working. So I had to get that replaced as well. But other than that, I haven't had to do anything to it. Just keep it clean and look after it, and that's it. And I've been using it I use it probably 2 or 3 times a week on a regular basis. And recently took it up a hill climb as well, and it did all right there, which was a bit more scary for me than it was for the car. But otherwise, it's been absolutely solid. And you know, if anybody out there is thinking about should I, shouldn't I, you know what? Just do it. Just do it. I tell you, having a car like this, it's just brilliant fun.
Whilst I can talk about cars for hours and hours and probably days on end, sometimes it's best left to the owners to talk about their own car in their own words. So yes, please do go and check out the Brown Car Guy on YouTube and Instagram and everything. There it is on screen. Right, these two BMWs look like they're heading out, and I have to say I quite like the modifications on them. This one's obviously been lowered a little bit and got chunky wheels. Deep dish alloys, it sounds good. BMW 316 as well. Again, another BMW I like. Maybe I like classic BMWs more than any of the more modern ones. It's not so much that I don't like them at all. It's just, I've never really gotten into that scene. So maybe I've been missing out on something. Maybe I'll have to try a bit harder and look at the BMW cars. But yeah, these are nice. Anyway, on something I do know about, a Mini. This particular one's a Mini Cooper. Standard arches painted white to match the bodywork of it. Pop out rear windows. Lovely thing, it's even got buckety seats. As I say, BMW Minis, quite divisive. That does sound nice. Let's just watch this one leave. And that one's a left-hand drive, so it'll be imported from Germany as well.
That sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, that sounds good.
Here we have another replica car, this particular one being a replica of the AC Cobra. There's quite a few companies out there, DAX being one of them. This particular one is the AK427, made by AK Sports Cars, and they're based around Peterborough by the looks of it. Yes, I am reading that little sheet down there because I don't know, and that's the thing, when I come to these events it's quite good because I get to learn new stuff about obviously cars and things I didn't know about before. I don't pretend to know everything when I come and do these videos. I just make half it up as I go along half the time. And obviously I use actual facts as well. The lovely wood rim steering wheel, I love the detail. Obviously, as I say, kit car, but somebody could have their own AC Cobra with this AK427. Lovely wheels. Obviously a more modern Mini Cooper S. This particular one being an R53. Supercharger, of course, which is very fun, very whiny. Everybody likes a whiny supercharger. I know I do. That's for a turbo wastegate sound. That's always good fun. But next to it, oh look, it's a Ferrari. No, it isn't. It's another kit car. It's based on the BMW Z3, a bit like the cars that we saw just around the corner. As I say, it's quite convincing. Obviously, for those who I guess are more in the know about things like this, you'll notice very much that the angle of this windscreen is very, very BMW Z3. And that's because obviously it is one. Wood rim steering wheel with Ferrari logo in the centre. But again, stuff like this allows somebody to achieve their dream. And it does look good.
I don't know what it is. I mean, first didn't know it when we started Car SOS. But then my boss used to ring me and go, Fuzz has had another letter. Now, it's generally a certain sort or a certain age of lady. This is what I tell Fuzz all the time. But it's amazing how I think the hats and the clothes, the image is a lot of it. It worked for him.
Now obviously there are some very, very lovely cars here. Obviously most of them are outside. But inside the dealership we have this gorgeous BMW M5, and look at that. Dealer plates. Apologies for any camera flicker, it doesn't always like interior lighting all that much. Lovely interior, this is such a clean car, and the paintwork on it is sublime. But behind that we've got the newer BMW Z4. Of course, shares quite a lot of components with the Toyota Supra. It's a nice looking car this, it's quite well styled, I have to say. But something that has naturally caught my eye, something I like very, very much, is this. A Sinclair C5. Yes, these are all too common these days, evidently, at these shows, but this is one, this is working. Original pod controller up there. Optional mirrors. Are these 3D printed? No, they look like they're actual original ones. Those were an option, by the way, when the C5 was new. Indicators as well. It's quite a unique way that they fold around there. And it's also got mud flaps. Obviously white boot, so I think that means it's quite an early one, because later ones had the grey boot to do a bit of styling. That was almost its facelift, really. Seeing this here just makes me want to get mine done, to be perfectly honest. I want to have a go in mine and ride it now. But yeah, it's got typical C5 problems, which involve obviously the edge of the lights, braking. This side seems to be okay though. I have a light for mine. It also has broken edges, but I'm not bothered by that much. That's where the battery would go. Drainage holes in the seat. I like a C5. It kind of makes me wish I'd brought mine up now, but it's not ready yet. By quite a long shot. But it's nice to see an original one with obviously all the original stuff like the mirrors and the indicators. The, shall we say, original extras. Child just run past. Obviously, as well as that, last thing I'm going to say on the C5 before we move on, there are some very, very talented people in the C5 scene who obviously are very, very clever at making things. There's somebody who make aftermarket mud flaps. Their name is John Webster. I know that because I've bought a set of his mud flaps. There's somebody on there who makes 3D printed or 3D resin printed indicators that obviously fits the same shape, and they look good, they look very convincing. There's another person who does 3D resin printed mirrors, headlights, reproduction stickers. I think there might even be somebody who makes a reproduction foam for the handlebar. There's 3D options for everything. Anyway, on with the show. I'll just buy this through the window, as well as the gorgeous BMW M5 in the other building next to the Sinclair C5. They have this absolutely stunning Mini Cooper Sports Pack R-Reg. Of course, going towards the end of production with this, a couple of years out. But this thing is lovely. Of course, I'm a sucker for a Mini. Love a Mini. Doesn't matter what sort of age it is and what condition. I do love them very much. They just have that quirky character about them that appeals to me. And also a very, very cute face. They've also got this poster in the back of it, which is a very, very striking image. The classic 33 EJB original Rally Mini, and the more modern 1WRC JCW Mini Countryman. I might have a bit of content to do with these two cars coming up in the not too distant future, so keep your eyes out for that. But that's a subtle hint. Well then, those were the cars that are here at the minute. Of course, it's one of those kinds of shows where vehicles come and go as they please whenever they want to. But I think my time here is up. I've had a good day with this. It's been very enjoyable. And if you've enjoyed it as well, don't forget to leave a like, because, you know, it really helps the channel out and helps it to grow. And of course, let me know down in the comments below, which is your favourite vehicle here. I think I know which one mine was. Try and guess down in the comments. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Jake. This is Fuel Power. See you in the next video. Until then, farewell.
Yeah,
Yeah. The infrastructure's not quite there yet, and it's got a range of, 250 miles.